Hello and welcome to this week's Scrap Savvy workshop with Anisha Ramsey from Scrapworx. For today's workshop, I'm going to be creating a double page layout using our Fabulous Florals collection, but we'll be using the full pack today and some of the leftovers from the essential pack. So for today's class, I'm going to need the following patterns. I need you to take out, if you're following along, otherwise you can use your own. I'll run through your pattern paper 1, 2 and 3 in a bit. So you need 2 of the self-love. I'm going to use the front and the back of this pattern. Then you need the pattern paper called Secret Garden. Then a dozen red roses, but I want to use the back of it. I want to use the dots. And then Romance, I'll also be using the bigger dots on the back, the circle ones. And then I have fussy cut out all of this. And then we're going to use quite a bit of the little bits and pieces from the cut apart. You will especially need all the little words. You'll need the flowers. You won't necessarily need this flower, but you will need all the leaves. You are going to definitely need this piece. You will need these 2 little goodies and the little tickets. And then there's some tickets from the Essentials pack that you will also be using. To customize the flowers to match my page or to blend in with the selection, I've cut off some of the flowers from in the collection called Fabulous Florals, and you just need to cut them apart. So I've already cut out a couple of the ones that I want to use. I've already cut a sheet up. What I do is I cut them up and I put them into a little paint well like this so that they're all together, and then I color them as and when I need them. So I do all the cutting one time so I don't have to stop to cut, but so you can see I cut some off and then I've got them like that. I've printed on one side and it's white on the other, so if you wanted to do them in orange, for example, you could change the colors completely. I'm going to color mine with some distress ink, the oxide Victorian Velvet. I'm going to ink some with that, and then I'm going to do some of them with this distress sprays. I'm using Victorian Velvet Spray Stain, the Sponge Sugar Oxide Spray, and Sponge Sugar Spray Stain. So I know that I want 3 light, 3 dark, and 3 that is an in-between color. And then 3 of them, I've already done them, so I'm only going to do 2. 3 that are just distressed around the edges. So basically with these ones, I'm just going to add a little bit of Victorian Velvet to the edge of the petals, like that. And then I'm just going to fold each petal, squeeze it in half like that. If you're unable to, if your paper is too thick or your hands can't squeeze them, you can't manage to squeeze it, you can use a piercing tool and a piece of foam and then just draw a line halfway through each petal, like down the middle of each petal. You just want to score a little line. And then that'll create a nice fold line for you to just be able to squeeze the petals together. Right, once that's done, I would take the ink and then just rub it over the raised areas one more time, just to get it a little bit darker. I have already done some off to the side, so for the page, like that. Okay, so there's those done. Right. So for the bigger ones, I'm just going to do these ones. I've done 3 light. I'll show you now. I might not use them all, but just in case. So here's the 3 medium. I've done 1 in this, 1 in that, and now I want to do the lighter shade, which is going to be the Sponge Sugar distress spray stain. So all I did was spray a little bit onto my mat. And just dip the flowers into there. Just to color them a little bit. Get a little bit of that pink. Okay, once that was done, you can use an embossing tool, or you can use the back of a paintbrush. I prefer to use the back of a paintbrush. You're just going to put that down and roll the petals around the paintbrush. I'm not pushing the paintbrush in, it's just there to give me somewhere to hold on to be able to manipulate the cardstock a little bit. So I'm just holding it there, and it just gives me something to roll the petals around so that they can squish a bit. I've got a little bit of green distress ink on my fingers, and the water's reactivated that, but that's okay. Just going to squish them like that. I'm going to take the smaller ones and just rub them, put them in this ink as well. And while they're soaking up the ink, I'm going to do the same with the Victorian Velvet. So I'm going to put some on the mat, pop in the 3 blooms, and I've also got a couple of these. I want them to be dark as well, so you can pick and choose which ones you want. See that there's still quite a bit of ink on the mat, so if you, instead of adding more ink, I would just add a little bit of water to this. And there you go, they get nice and covered in ink. Leave them to soak that up. And then I do the oxide. And we can pop these ones in. So I get a light shade of pink, a medium shade, and a dark. Okay. And then all I'm going to do is the same thing. I'm going to take each one and roll it around the paintbrush. And I'm going to heat set them so that till they are just like damp. You don't want to heat them till they're crispy dry, because then the paper becomes very brittle and you can't manipulate it the way you want to, and you will lose a petal or two. So once they are dry enough to handle, you can open up all of the little flowers. And there we go. We'll come back to these. I'm just going to pop them in here so they can dry properly. And if they aren't 100% dry by the time I need them, we can just use the heat gun. It's not an issue. But most of them are almost dry. Okay, so that's the flowers that we're going to need. Then the leftover, should be this leftover from the previous classes, the Lovers and the Details. I just cut out the Love Is part and have painted that with brown paint. I used Ground Espresso Distress Paint. And it's easy enough, you can get that done. Okay. Right, so your pattern papers are going to be cut as follows. Your pattern paper number 1, which is Romance, the back of Romance. It's the big dot. You will need to cut a strip. You need to cut a strip across that measures 23 centimeters. And then you will cut that strip into 2 pieces. One piece that measures 16 centimeters across. I'm going to shift this over a bit. So you need one piece that is 16 centimeters across and another piece that is 14 centimeters across, like that. Okay, so out of your pattern paper number 1, this is what you need: a 23 centimeter strip cut into 16 and 14. Out of your pattern paper number 2, which is called Self Love, you will cut a 28.5 centimeter strip. So you're going to cut it like that. And then that 28.5 centimeter strip you're going to cut into 2 pieces. One that measures 17.5 centimeters across, and another one that measures 12.5 centimeters across. Okay, so we're going to have that. Then out of your pattern paper number 3, which is called Self Love, but the back of it, you're going to cut an 24 centimeter strip. You're going to cut that to 24 centimeters, and then you're going to cut those 2 pieces into a piece that measures 13 centimeters and another one that measures 13.5 centimeters. So there's that. And then out of your pattern paper number 4, or Secret Garden, you're going to cut an 18 centimeter strip. And then out of that 18 centimeter strip, you just need 2 pieces at 10 centimeters each. So you're going to end up with that. And then out of your pattern paper number 5, which is A Dozen Red Roses, remember we're working with the dots, you're going to cut an 8 centimeter strip, 8 centimeters across, and then just cut it in half. So we've got two pieces that measure 15 centimeters by 8, like that. Okay, so those are the pattern papers that you're going to need and how you need to cut them. I'm going to work on a white background. So I have 2 pieces of cardstock, 30 by 30 pieces of cardstock. I already inked everything off camera. It's just easier. I used frayed burlap, distress oxide, to ink the edges of my patterns. You can choose any color you prefer. Okay, and then my plan is to put it together something like this. So I'd like to have this over here. Let's see. So working on the left and right, I thought that'll look nice there. And then I like the dot, and I would like that then to be sort of this other one in the middle, right? And then I thought to have this on the side like that. Still playing around and see exactly where you want to be, where I'd like everything to be, but I thought that would look good. And then this one over here, maybe to tuck it in a little bit more. Maybe a little bit up and down. That looks good. And this one can go this side. Not sure if I wanted to go flush or also tuck under a little bit yet. And then this one, I think it can run over or under. Maybe over. That. And this one over on this side, like that. No, I think I wanted to go all the way there. And then that one will go under like that. So something like that. I'll probably play around a little bit more and change things up as we go. I'm not too worried about this because I plan to cover a lot of it with embellishing. But something like that. Okay. And then photographs that you need are two photos that measure 10 centimeters by 15. So I'm going to have a photograph over here and over here. So you need one landscape, 10 by 15, 15 by 10, a landscape photograph, 15 by 10, and one portrait, 10 by 15. And then I thought to have two little small ones over here, like that. Right, so for your photographs, I'll run through it one more time. One photograph, 10 by 15, portrait. One photograph, 15 by 10, landscape. And two photographs, 7 by 5, landscape. If you're going to mat them, out of your light cardstock, you'll need two pieces that measure 10.5 by 15.5, and two pieces that measure 5.5 by 7.5. Out of your dark cardstock, you're going to need two pieces that measure 11 by 16, and two pieces that measure 6 by 8. Okay, and that'll give you that, where that's going to go, more or less like that. Okay. Right, then I have, like I said, I'd already done some of the flowers, but I know that with me having put things together, I know that it's not enough. So I've cut out all the little goodies I'm going to need. These flowers come from the Essentials pack. These little tabs are from the Essentials pack, as well as the tag. I think that's everything that comes from the Essentials pack. Yeah, I think maybe this ticket as well comes from the Essentials pack. But that's kind of the embellishments that we're going to need for today's class. So I have already fussy cut everything out and inked everything up, and basically it's now just a matter of putting it together where I think where I would like the flowers and the little embellishments to go. So I thought to do a little flower cluster, something like that on that side, and then to do another little flower cluster on this side like that. Again, something similar to that, so that it looks like it's growing up, and the same with that one. And we could maybe put another one there. This one definitely needs to come in a little bit closer. But we don't want to overlap the flower too much. The photographs too much. And I would like the leaves to stick out a little bit. So we can maybe turn that one like that and turn that one like that. There we go. And then put the baby one in over there. That might look a little bit better. Something like that. Okay. And then we can tuck in some extra leaves here and there, where it looks like we need a little extra something, just to make them stand out. Obviously, once I get sticking, I do move things around a little bit, because once you can stick things down, it does look a little bit different. There we go. Maybe over here. Something like that. I like this little label. I thought that it would look nice to form part of the cluster over here, like that. So that it looks like these flowers are forming part of the cluster. Okay, and then because I have something on that side, I need to put something this side, and I thought to put the tag with all these nice little words on over here, and then my title being Love Is. So we would normally put a brad or a ribbon or something like that through there. I'm going to put the is. I'm going to set it up so that the is becomes my tag topper, and that the love goes like that. So all the things that love is. Then I want my main photograph just to stand out a little bit more, and I thought that this would be a nice way to pop that, just a little something to make that stand out a little bit more. And again, over here, it feels to me that we need something over here, because we've done something there. I know I need to do something here. Well, that's the way my brain works anyway. So I thought to use, this is the side that's on the cut apart sheet. but the printing is running in the wrong direction, the words, so I just turned it over, and I think that's going to work really well over here, like that. Okay, and then I wanted to go in and add the little, I cut out all the little sentiments, because I mean, if you read it, love is the best thing that happened, little moments, a million little things, love messages, just 3 little words, the cutest thing. So I thought it would be nice to put the little sentiments, scatter them around the page. So I thought to put that one there. I thought to put this one over here. Then the cutest thing, I think maybe I'll raise this and just pop it here in the, kind of in the middle of those photographs. We can put the little moments over here. And then love is fabulous, gorgeous, beautiful, stunning, spectacular, and then a million little things would look good there. And then love messages, we could pop over here. Like I say, I'll neaten it up and find its exact place as we go. Then I wanted to use these little labels as well. Oh, I forgot this one. I think this one's going to go over here. And I want the labels to make things, just to draw your attention to the little sentiments, so that it doesn't look like I just put them there, that they actually have a purpose. So I think if we do something like this, play around and I'll make it work a bit better, but you'll get the idea. Pop this little leaf in over here, like that, just to give and to help create my visual triangle. So if I put this like that, it looks like the words are put there with more with intention than just randomly scattered around the page. And like I said, it helps me achieve that the visual triangle I'm after. So we have 1, 2, 3, like that. And then just to add a little something, we could add the little, I like these little circles. I'm going to add a little bit of glossy accents to make them pop a little bit more. So we'll find a good place for them, but they do need to be a part of everything. Then I have a ticket that I thought I could also just pop in somewhere. Just a little something extra. Maybe we can just have it stick out the top there like that, Or maybe we can swap it around. This one will look better here. There we go. And then, let's see. We could put this in over here. I'll play around with it a little bit more. We can even just have it sticking out the edge of the page like that. And then that too will help with a visual triangle. Maybe put this one underneath here to just build up that layer a little bit. Yeah, perfect. Like that. I'll play around and maybe change the orientation a little bit. But that's basically where we're going with this. And then remember all those awesome little flowers we made. So here they are. These are the ones I made off camera, and they've had a lot of time to dry. We can easily, I don't mind to have the extras because I do think I do need a little extra. So if those ones are dry, we'll add them in. We'll be using them as well. So I thought that these would be nice to just add that little something extra to the layout and to make it, just fill it up with a little bit of extra pink, because there's so many different shades of pink. By doing it this way, we can just tie everything in together. And it just helps with being able to extend the page a little bit. So I'll play around like that. And for now I'm just putting them where my first instinct is you can always move them around as we go. Okay, like that. There we go. I think I like that. We might need one or two smaller ones. Okay, I think here we need another little small one. So over here maybe, like that. I think that'll do. Maybe one of these. But there you go. That kind of gives you an idea of where I'm going with this page. Now I'm going to put music on and start to put glue on everything so that everything can dry. Once we've got the glue on, we will come back to create the base page and then put everything together. I do think that the background just needs a little something, and I think we'll be doing a little bit of stencil work with and add a little bit of extra pink to the background. Okay, so I'm going to quickly put glue on everything and I will see you in a bit. So what I'm going to do now is just add a bit of stenciling to my background. I'm just going to go around the sides like that. So I'm not going to do the whole background. I just need a little bit of stenciling. I'm going to use this, I think it's lattice work from Tim Holtz. And really I'm just going to apply a very soft layer. I don't even want it to be too dark. So just remember to always check that your paper lines up top and bottom, because sometimes it's not cut exactly square, and you just want to be sure that the two sides line up correctly. Okay, like I said, I just want to work my way across the top and down the sides. I'm going to use the stencil this way. I'm going to start more or less over there, like that. I'm using Victorian Velvet oxide. I'm going to go over the pattern very, very lightly. I'm adding barely any pressure to the tool. I just want to get a hint of color. Start there at the top And we'll start here at the bottom, and that'll just give me my starting point. There we go. Very, very light. And then this is a very nice stencil in that you can easily match up the pattern and keep it going. So even if I miss a spot or two, I'm not going to worry, because I just want that hint of color. So that goes over there. I know that I've got more of the pattern of the white sticking out down the right here, so I'm just going to go down there, make it a little bit bigger, like that. I can change it now. Right, I can load up again. Very lightly. I just don't want a solid, hard background. I just want something to break the background a bit. Okay. There we go. And I think we need to just carry it over a little bit onto this side. And I like the way that's turned out. If I know that okay, so this is my center. I'm just going to work with it this way around. It's easier for me. Once I start to put my pattern paper on, if I need to, I can always go and add in a little bit of extra stenciling. Very lightly. And there you go. I've added a very, very light layer of the pink. It just is going to break the white. And if I put this piece down now, you can kind of, well, it actually goes this side, but you can see that it is going to tie everything in really nicely. So what we're going to do now is start to assemble the page. Let me put it in the order that we need. Okay, so we're going to start to put the page together. I'm going to keep my little patterns here on the side. Okay, so we will start with pattern paper number 2. It is the green distress piece. It's a piece that measures 17.5 by 28.5 and 12.5 by 28.5. I'm going to start working on the left side first, and then we'll move over to the right. Okay. You're going to need a ruler, a pencil, and your glue. Okay, so we're going to attach this one flush against the center of the page and 1 centimeter from the top of the page. Just measure the one. Like that. Going to go over there like that. So we're going to attach this one. It is the right one. This is the back of pattern paper number 2. So this one's going to go down first. I'm working on the left side of the page. So the piece that measures 17.5 centimeters is the one that's going to go down first. 1 centimeter from the top and flush against the center of the page. Just going to turn it down so I can make sure I get it flush here. There we go. I like to work with a glue that just gives me a little bit of time to shift things in place. There we go. Remember, the glue is wet, so you need to hold your pattern in place and then burnish it where it needs to be. Right. Then on the left side of the page, your pattern paper number 2, which is the dot, or your pattern paper number 1, which is the dot. This one is going to go also flush against the center, but 5 centimeters from the top of the page. Leave a little spacey here so that we can slide some pattern paper under it or over it. So we're going to measure 5 centimeters from the top of the page. Okay, and that's going to go over there. So remember, we can get glue along the center of the page, the piece that's going to go flush against the center, and then I would just take it up like that. There is room to be able to tuck pattern paper underneath. There's your 5 centimeter mark. Okay, and just double check that. Yes. There we go. It is right the whole way through. Flush against the center, burnish that in place. Next up is your pattern paper number 3, which is going to be this one. It is the piece that measures 13 centimeters. It's going to go on the left side. And this one is going to go 2 centimeters from the top and 1 centimeter from the left of the page. Okay, so we'll just get the 1 centimeter mark. So there. And then 2 centimeters from the top of the page. And I'm going to want it to slide, oops, I think I have it wrong. Oh no, it's correct, sorry, it's correct. 1 centimeter and 2 from the top. There's that gap, my other pattern paper will go over that. So 1 centimeter from the left and 2 centimeters from the top. Goes like that. And then the pattern paper number 4, which is this distressed one. This one is going to go 7 centimeters from the left and 7.5 centimeters down. So it goes more or less there. And there. Okay, so there we go. We need 7.5 centimeters from the top and 7 centimeters from the left. That's where it needs to go. Add some glue. And it slides underneath your pattern paper number 1. So I'm going to go under there. Mark over there. There we go. Like that. And don't worry about the gaps because those are going to be covered up with the flowers. Right, so that's going to go like that. And then the last piece that needs to go is this pattern. Which one is this? This is the one that goes on the right. So your pattern paper number 5. This one we're going to attach from the bottom. So 5.5 centimeters from the bottom. I'm going to go about over there. I think 6. Let's do 6 centimeters from the bottom, flush against the side, and it goes underneath your pattern paper number 2. So that's where that's going to go, like that. I think it looks better if we do 6 centimeters. Goes underneath that pattern and flush against the side. And where's my 6? There you go, that's your pattern laid in place for the left side. We're going to work on the right side, but keep the left side handy so that we can use it to line up correctly on the right side. Just double check it. Okay, so we're going to start with our pattern paper number 2. Remember, it goes 1 centimeter from the top of the page, flush against the center. Like that. 1 centimeter from the top, flush against the middle. Before you burnish it in place and attach it in a way that can't be, it just becomes permanent. We just want to double check with the other side that it actually lines up. So I always say line your pages up at the bottom, because when they go in your page protector, that's where they fall down. Line it up at the top, and I can see I need to shift it down slightly. There we go. So you want your left and right side to line up at the top. and at the bottom, like that. Okay. Then we need pattern paper number 1, which is the dot. And that one is attached 5 centimeters from the top of the page. Okay, remember we want to tuck things under, so the side that's inked, we're not going to put glue too close to the edge. So that we have the option to tuck something in if need be. So I'm just going to put this where I marked the 5, and before I touch everything 100%, again just want to line up my page together at the bottom. Make sure my pattern lines up at the top and the bottom. Perfect. And that it's flush against the center, no overhang. You can burnish that in place. Remember, hold your paper. There we go. Right, so the next one we're going to attach is your pattern paper number 3. And this one is going to be attached 5.5 centimeters in and 3.5 centimeters from the top. So it drops down a little bit. It's not quite in line with that one. Right. So I want this one to be 3.5 from the top. And 5.5 from the side. So I'll double check that. Looks like my little half is, there we go. That's correct. So it's going to be attached like that. And 3.5 centimeters from the top, like that. It's going to be in, my page is upside down, but that's where that's going to go. I'll turn it the right way around now. Okay, so that's where I want that one to go, like that. So I'm going to add some glue. My ruler in place. So my 3.5 from the top, 5.5 from the right. Okay. Oops, a bit skew. That looks a bit better, I think. Double check it. There you go. That looks better. It's very skew. Right, and then the last, well not the last, the second last one, our pattern paper number 4. This one is going to be attached 8.5 centimeters from the top, 8.5 centimeters in, so also lower than the one on the left, so it's not exactly in the same place. So here we go, picking up my flowers. 8.5 from the top, 8 centimeters from the right. So 8.5 from the top, 8 centimeters from the right. It's going to pop in like that. double check that I have it straight. And then we've got the dot that needs to go flush against the side and 6 centimeters from the bottom. And it's flush against the side of the page. So I'm going to double check it. Okay, we can quickly check to see that it is going to line up with the other side, but it's not the end of the world if it doesn't, because I haven't done it so that it is exact, but that does line up. And there we go. That is the foundation of the layout in place. What we need to add now are our photographs. Okay, and I think, let's see, where are they? They're here. If you recall, we want one to go this way and one to go that way, and then 2 to go this way. So I think we have them, this one 9 centimeters from the top, and then space these two so that there's the same amount of space at the top and at the bottom, like that. So that would be one option, or you could drop it all down. I think I like it like that. So the photographs are attached 9 centimeters. The left side is attached 9 centimeters from the top of the page. And about a mil away from the center of the page. So if I move it, you'll be able to see like that. Okay, which I then think this one is going to be 8.5 from the top of the page. Oh, it looks more, let's do it, straighten it. 8.5 centimeters from the top of the page. And then about a mil from the side, from the center of the page. So I want it to go right there. Before I stick it, I'm just going to double check that I'm happy with my spacing. Yes. Make sure that I have it straight. Okay, and then the bottom 2 photos will just go at the bottom here with about the same 1 mil gap from the left center of the page and 1 millimeter between the top photo and the bottom photo, like that. That looks better. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to hold it and then just make sure that it's stuck. Same as here. Actually, shift it up just a bit. And there you go. That is everything in place. I'm going to draw lines around my pattern paper and then add a little, start to add all the embellishments. And some of the flowers I'm going to raise. You will have noticed when I chose to put glue to dry, I didn't put any glue on this one, the one that's going to go here, because my plan is to raise this one. So I want to put foam squares so that this one, and I'm going to just run the foam squares down the center of it, like that. Okay, the ones that I put on the top and the bottom, I won't take the tape backing off those ones. I will only take the tape backing off the ones that are in the center of the little sentiment. Okay, so that when I attach it, only this part here is going to stick in place, and then will allow me to slide my photograph underneath when I am able to attach, when I'm able to put my photographs on my page. Right, some of my flowers, the ones that we fussy cut, I will raise. Some will be flat. Some of the leaves I'm going to raise, but it's as we go along I'll do that. What else? I think that's all. Oh, and then I will also be putting little pearls in the flowers as we go along. Okay, so I'm going to put on some music and do my lines and start to put the page together. I'll see you in a bit.